bonjour.
Bonjour.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. Do you say konnichiwa or Ohio?
At this time of the day, you can already say konnichiwa. This whole side of Kyoto is a lot more quiet, a lot more wealthy people living here. And this all happened after a particular time of Japanese history, which is called the Meiji Restoration, which started in 1860. That's when the Meiji Emperor reopened Japan to foreign influences. Okay? And at that time,
yeah, before that they were very
close. It was Edo period, you know, the samurai time. Japan was really much on it was a feudal system. You know? And then Japan reopened the borders to foreign influences and got technology from outside. Until then, Kyoto was very poor in water. They didn't have much water. And then Meiji Restoration came, they went to Europe and they saw technology, European technology. And they brought European technology to take water and put it inside of the city. What we just walked under, this thing made out of bricks, which is pretty rare in Japan. Usually constructions in Japan are made out of wood. This brick thing is an aqueduct, which brings water from the other side of the hill. On the other side of the hill there is a big lake called Biwa Lake. And the water is diverted and comes through here. So above us, there was water running. We'll see the water later on.
Right.
But everywhere where we're gonna go, you will see water flowing everywhere. And that's not because it's raining. It's because there is an aqueduct bringing the water over here.
But this is usable or?
This is usable.
Right.
This is usable.
Okay.
This is not drain. This is not. This is not wastewater.
Right.
And this is a big complex temple called Nanzenji. None of the buildings that are here were here originally. The way Japanese people builded buildings out of wood is that it works like Lego. You just go and work like this. No nails, nothing.
I'm a big fan of Japanese woodworking.
Yeah, it's amazing the way it works. And the way it works makes it such that they can unblock everything and then rebuild it somewhere else. Just put it, displace things.
Right, okay.
So all these buildings were other places and then they just gathered them and build a wall around it. The reason why they build a wall, the reason why they did this is because during the time of history of Japan, 1500s, the warring states, they had a lot of wars and the Buddhist monks didn't want to get killed, so they protected by gathering all together and building a wall around it. Okay?
Sure.
There's another gate here, but these are not the original gates.
Oh.
You see the whole area over there with the parking lot and everything? It used to be more temples over there.
Oh,
but
right.
over time, religion, they removed because religion is not as important as it used to be. So a lot of temples sort of got destroyed. And the real official gate is further down, but it got destroyed. You know?
So it used to be public land, but it's not anymore?
It used to be Buddhist property land, and now it is public.
Okay.
Public in the means that anyone, and not just monks, can now buy this land.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, you're gonna have to, you know, wipe and then pick up all the little things, which is what he's doing right now over there. Look at what he's doing with this orange bucket.
Because you don't want to destroy the moss.
You don't want to destroy the moss.
Right.
When you don't want moss is difficult to get rid of. But when you want it, it's difficult to control it and make sure that it's clean. But the good thing about this kind of construction is that Japan being a country that's very prone to earthquakes, when you don't have nails, you know, it moves, but it's okay, it stays in place.
Split the wood.
With nails, it would break. It's also very important for very humid countries because
where the wood extends.
Yeah, there's this, but also steel, you know, would rot more quickly because of humidity.
Oh yeah, it rots.
You see that?
Those
rectangle shapes everywhere?
Yeah.
Well, these used to be stickers.
Stickers.
Yeah, back in the day, people would put stickers with their names on it. Because they would think that monks and religious places, if they had their names stuck on it, it would protect them and their families. But then the monks eventually removed those stickers.
Yeah, that window is always very nice.
Yeah. Minus 20 degrees Celsius outside.
What nice.
Nice. It's
Okay.
everything white,
Oh.
snow everywhere.
We must try that next.
And I went to see the icebergs.
I know, it's like every time I see one of these, I'm like, wow, so deceiving. It tricks you to think that it's even.
Yeah. Because Japan was closed and nothing could be exported out of Japan, it really had a very special form of art that Europeans had never seen before. So when they saw that, early 1900s, Monet saw that and said, wow, this is really interesting. All this beautiful nature, the ponds and the lily flowers on the ponds. And he got inspired from that to create the very famous paintings that we know.
Exactly like this.
Oh, so pretty.
So back in the day, the only person who could afford to have fish and not eat them was the emperor. So the farmers were giving as a present colorful fish to the emperor, not knowing that it's actually a deficient fish, it's a sick fish. But anyway, they didn't know about it. They just found the thing very intriguing and interesting and pleasant to look at.
Yeah, beautiful.
They have a problem in their DNA that makes them more colorful, but it also makes them smaller. If we later we're gonna see
I saw a big one.
like big black ones that we can barely see. These ones can be very big, as big. If the pond is sufficiently deep and there's food, it can get as big as a human being.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that I've not seen.
Yeah.
How much people would that feed?
Well,
You
actually,
don't want to eat any.
the
Like
meat,
a few
No,
families.
they don't taste good.
Yeah.
the meat from the koi carp is not that good.
Yeah.
It's not a good fish to eat.
Yeah.
Because of the sun hitting the moss and just burning it. They grow the moss inside of greenhouses,
Right.
and they just transplant squares of moss. So
Oh,
sometimes one of the reasons why we have different types of moss on the same spot is because they just put that kind of moss here and then they let it grow, then they put that kind of moss there.
So is this like
This is
a lantern?
a
or-
lantern,
Okay.
once again very decorative. It's not
Okay.
meant to be used for lighting purposes,
Okay.
and it houses the spirit that protects the garden.
Cool.
Now we're going to move away from the Buddhist world, and we're going to go inside of a garden that is inside the grounds of a rich Japanese person.
Oh, okay.
So it's not religious anymore,
Okay.
and it's much more recent. It was built. This one, the one that we went to, was built late 1500s, early 1600s.
Oh wow.
The one we're going to go now started in 1860, so it's much more recent.
Okay. Cool.
And the way they created the garden is not just as a scenery for the eyes, it's also a scenery for the ears. Everywhere where we're going to go, they made sure to have small waterfalls so that we can hear the sound of the water dripping everywhere. It also
Right.
covers the sound of the traffic that's behind. That's why I told you earlier on, look at the traffic and the amount of noise that we have around. Here we don't feel it, we don't hear it as much. This is not on purpose. And they didn't have originally all those trees that we see now because they could borrow the scenery of the mountain. But over the years, society has changed and the city grew and there were more ugly buildings, so they've put trees to cover the sights from the ugly stuff and also from the sound coming from the traffic, and only keep the beauty. And we feel, even though we are in the middle of the city and earlier on we were surrounded by traffic and people and cars and stuff, here we feel like we're in another world.